Huh. I wonder where Fro is. We start in about 5 minutes.
Sorry, I'm late, man. I'm here.
Hey, Fro, glad you could. Dude, what's with the suit and tie?
It's my first time on the job. I just wanted to make a nice impression.
This is a podcast for a subreddit. It's not a corporate job. I mean, look at what I'm wearing.
Yeah, boxers and a shirt that says "I heart boobies."
Damn straight, the blue-footed booby is an amazing bird. I think you and I should go bird watching sometime. I think you'd have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, that's gonna be a no from me, dog.
All right. Well, before I forget,
Dude, what the hell?
well, you're a permanent co-host now. See, this is part of the gig. See, I got mine on.
Is your foot supposed to be purple?
Well, now that you mention it, it is a little bit tight. But you know what? We'll worry about that later. Let's get it on. Hello and welcome to Hello Nintendo, the official podcast of rNintendo. I'm your host, Matt, aka TrainAss, and with me today is my brand new dedicated co-host, Harrison, aka Frobro.
Hey, what's up?
We've also been joined again by a couple of our previous hosts. We've got with us today Michael, aka iwatafan,
Hey there, how's it going?
and making the second episode appearance, we've got Sam, aka fartprincess.
Hi.
How's everyone doing today?
I'm fine.
Doing well.
Great day. Lovely weather today.
Michael, what is it that you have been playing the past couple weeks?
Well, after the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tournament that we were doing through our game club, I basically went back to Breath of the Wild, which I'm still on. I have had to restart 3 times for various reasons. Namely, I lost my save through the most stupid method possible, switching SD cards. But anyways, I have over 300 hours logged in that game right now, and I'm only halfway done. So I'm going to be playing Breath of the Wild, I think, until the end of June. And I don't know, that game is huge. I'm even trying to go for all the Korok seeds. And that's taking forever. I think I'm at like 350. But I found them all myself, so that's miraculous. But the DLC coming out will help with that.
Frobro, what have you been playing the last couple weeks? Wait, don't tell me. Fire Emblem.
No. I'm happy to announce that I'm no longer a fraud. I have completed Shin Megami Tensei 4, and that was a ride. I've learned what SMTBS means. That game is so heavily dependent on RNG, it's not even funny. But now I'm actually kind of a bit lost because I was playing that for like a couple months, and now I don't know what to do with my free time anymore. Maybe I'll actually pick up a Fire Emblem like Awakening. Or maybe I'll replay an older one like Sacred Stones or 7. I don't know. I'll get around to picking.
You know, I'm going to admit something. I was kind of watching a couple of Fire Emblem videos, and it might be another purchase for me. I might pick up a Fire Emblem game for my Switch.
You're gonna wait a while, you know.
Eventually, but I'm thinking I might grab a Fire Emblem for Switch. So Sam, what have you been playing the last couple of weeks?
Last couple of weeks. I think I'm in the same position. I don't know. I think everybody's still scared to talk Zelda spoilers at the moment. But I will say I've sort of got a bit bummed out on the Rito Shrine. And it sort of killed my motivation a little bit. So that's been on the back burner. But luckily Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has raced in to fill that gap. Been playing a lot of that online. It is sort of the same as the Wii U game. I don't know if I like the double items. I think it was balanced really well for the Wii U. Now it's a bit too frantic. It's a lot harder to lose first place now, and it can be lonely at the front in Mario Kart. It's a lot of fun in second to fifth. It can be lonely at the front.
But you definitely need to try the battle modes if you haven't yet. I think that right there is where Mario Kart 8 Deluxe shines.
Yeah, I really need to. And then the other game, like strangely late, is Super Mario Run on my phone. Like, I installed it the day it came out, and I sort of played the first couple of levels, and I wasn't that into it. Oh, there it was there. I didn't really play it that much, and then I was stuck at work waiting for someone to show up, and I didn't have much to do, just had my phone on me, so I paid for the rest of the levels, and the game really opens up. I think it's I think Nintendo's missed a huge trick by giving us such boring levels at the start, and then asking us to pay £10 for what seems at that point like a typical auto-run platformer game. And it's really, really good, really fun. Lots of surprising twists. When you get to the ghost houses as well, it's like a nice spin on booze, considering Mario can only look in one direction, so...
I got a quick question for you, Farty.
Yeah.
So go ahead and clear your mind. I'm gonna ask you a question. I need your just reflex answer.
Yeah.
What can £10 get me that isn't Super Mario Run?
Oh, an amiibo.
All right, that's a good answer.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah, my 2-year-old, she's going to be 3 coming up, but she seems to quite like Super Mario Run. She's always wanted to grab my wife's phone and play it, and now that I've got it on my phone, she's trying to grab my phone as well. She seems to like it.
I think it is a hard sell. 10 seems a lot for, not just for mobile, but after the main game is done, which is over quite quick, there's lots and lots of extra stuff, so it's typical of recent Mario games, like Super Mario 3D Worlds, for example. You're gonna get to the end really quick, really easy, but there's such a huge amount of content other than the main story, and I'm trying to figure out what Toad Rally is for, but I'm having a lot of fun playing it, and I beat Matt this morning. I beat his ghost.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so you're going to have to try and reclaim that throne for me.
From the sounds of it, you beat Matt's daughter.
Oh yeah, maybe I did. Maybe I shouldn't feel so smug about that, but... And that's it from me for new games this week.
Hey, so for me, I've been playing some more Mario Kart 8. Kind of touched a little bit on Breath of the Wild. Finally got into the Gerudo city after getting thrown out over and over again. I think I was just having fun trying to see how far I could get in before I get caught and ejected. I still have not done any of the Divine Beasts. At this point, I'm just trying to get as many hearts as possible. And I picked up Snake Pass last week, actually based on the interview that they did with the Xbox One podcast crew. So I picked that up on my Switch and been having a lot of fun with that. It's a fairly straightforward game, and it's I don't know, there's something about it that's a lot of fun. I know I quite like the music, because that the music for Snake Pass was done by the same composer who did the Donkey Kong Country trilogy, and when you listen to the soundtrack, you really hear the inspiration from DKC as well in there. So I've been playing that a little bit.
I got a question for you, Matt. Why'd you pick it up on the Switch and not the Xbox One?
Because my Switch needs a bigger library. My Xbox One has got way too many games, and I carry my Switch around with me. I can't really carry around my Xbox One. Visually, like, you know, yeah, there's talk about, you know, the resolution's not as high on the Switch version versus Xbox One, but from what I've seen, they both play pretty much the same. There's no multiplayer, so, you know, that doesn't really matter, but so that's what I've been up to. So I'm going to hand things over to Fro to take on the first topic.
Yeah, well, today's first topic is Nintendo's current position with third parties. As you know, Nintendo's had struggles getting a lot of third-party titles since, well, the Nintendo 64. But so far, we've seen pre-E3 third party step up with Ubisoft with Rayman Legends, and we see 2K with NBA 2K17, and that new NBA Playgrounds game looks kind of like Street meets NBA Jam. And of course, we got all the indies. We've had a few come on our sub, like Mr. Shifty and Snake Pass on the Xbox One subreddit. There are also any problems with indies have been patched out. Like Mr. Shifty had really bad frame rate problems that have or are going to be patched out, and Snake Pass has suboptimal resolution that got patched out as well. Same thing with Blaster Master Zero not having Pro Controller support, which also passed out. So, what do you guys think with third party so far for the Nintendo Switch?
I think it's been pretty good so far. It's a nice showing. We've got some pretty decent games coming out for it, and it's nice to see that we've got some good indie support behind. And I hope that this is only a taste of what's to come. That we'll get a lot more indie titles out there, because there's some garbage indie games, but there's some really amazing indie titles, and I hope that we kind of keep to see more hit the platform.
What do you think, Sam?
It's still leaving a lot to be desired to me. Third party wise, I find it difficult to justify purchasing third party titles on my Switch when I've got a better PC. It's whether they actually start supporting the Switch's unique features, and obviously it being portable is a plus. I'm not seeing anything that really excites me. I guess in Nintendo's eyes, they're looking for third parties to attract the audience that would be purchasing your Call of Duties and your FIFAs on other consoles and getting them over to Switch. I don't know what progress they've made on that front. Basketball is a step in the right direction, but it's not Madden, is it?
What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, the library is slowly growing at this point, and I mean, my understanding with the Switch is a lot of the developers were kind of surprised by it, and so it wasn't going to be easy to just produce this for all these developers to be throwing their games onto the Switch, at least in such a limited time period. So, long story short, it sounds like there's a lot of projects in progress, and I mean, what we did get were things like the Shovel Knight Collection, Binding of Isaac, just a few ports of very common indie titles, and then third-party support. It just seems to all still be in the pipeline. The system is still so young. In general, I like to buy games on the Nintendo Switch, or even in the past, the Wii U, the 3DS, because I like playing games on video game hardware. But, I mean, that said, I do understand the appeal of, the problem of cross-platform of, do I buy it on Steam, or do I buy it in Nintendo's ecosystem, and things like that. But in general, I am more than happy to play a third-party title on the Switch if it's available. So I'm just looking forward to what's going to come out in the future.
Same here. Personally, I can't wait till the guys who've been like rolling deep with Nintendo since the DS, like Level 5 with Professor Layton, or Atlas with like Etrian and Shin Megami Tensei, or Capcom with Ace Attorney. Like, I can't wait for the classic DS guys and 3DS guys to come on board with the Switch, but I imagine we won't hear more about that until E3.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the odds we get stuff like Call of Duty and Madden and FIFA and, the other blockbuster games that sell out every November?
Well, I wonder what the turnaround is for development on the Wii U. If we think that a game like Yooka-Laylee, which we know is coming later to the Switch than it has been it's already available on other platforms, and we're seeing it's a relatively small game, pretty simple. It feels like it should be a quick port. I don't know if we've got a expected release date for that yet, but I wonder, these huge companies, what like EA, with something like Call of Duty, are they going to just hand it over to another studio to handle the port, or are they actually going to treat the Switch as a primary development platform.
I mean, I think they should, because obviously portable COD is it. I imagine a lot of people would like cream their pants at the idea at that.
I think they should too, but it's obviously a lot more work, and it'll take a lot more time if they've already got, the next 2 Call of Duties at least.
Yeah, it'll be a while. I hate that they do that. The way they got 3 different studios working on a COD, so that they get 2.5 years each to work on the game.
Yeah.
And then there's a new COD every year that way. I hate that they do that. I don't really like annualized franchises.
Oh, just saturates the market with, and that's kind of why COD's got that stigma about it, that because there's so many of them, and it's the same thing over and over again. Like, even the stories are starting to get repetitive and unoriginal, and I think exactly that's why, exactly what you just said, where they've got so many studios working on them, they're just getting churned out on a regular basis.
You know who else does that and it doesn't work out for them? Ubisoft with the Assassin's Creed series. They do the same thing.
Yeah, I haven't played an Assassin's Creed in a long time.
I can honestly say I have never played an Assassin's Creed game.
Oh, oops.
But no, because of the reasons you're saying, because there were so many coming out, and I got my Assassin's Creed fill. I'm not excited about a new Assassin's Creed, but and when I do get that Assassin's Creed itch again, there's plenty of games that I've missed that will be on a Steam sale.
You're being real quiet, Michael. What do you got to say about it?
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't really play these large franchise games regularly. I used to play them in the N64 days, but they just have never appealed to me, any of them, generally speaking. I've been mildly tempted by Assassin's Creed, but I haven't tried it out yet, so I don't have much to say. But in general, the concept of these major franchises coming to Switch, I think that's a very logical thing to do for these developers, because, like you said, it's a portable console. A portable home console. It has the power of a home console and easily able to make use of online services and things like that. That would make porting these games to the Switch all the more appealing for these companies. So, I mean, I hope we do see them there, because I know it will make the Switch even more popular. And that's irregardless of whether they're good games or not. Because the point is these are generally franchises people buy. I think there's just a ton of people who will buy the next Call of Duty, and they won't necessarily look at reviews. They'll just remember one of the other 30 Call of Duties they played in the past and want to get the next one. So I think it will help sales, and it'll be good for Nintendo. It will be good for those companies. Maybe not so good for gaming, depending on what. Yeah, that's the downfall. Maybe it can feel like you're selling your soul to support games that don't have much meat to them anymore. That just feel kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, they just don't have soul to them themselves. But yeah, I mean, for them to be on Switch, I think that makes perfect sense.
So I could see someone who has a Switch and a PlayStation 4 not buying the Switch version of NBA 2K because the portability won't matter. Because they won't be able to earn fun bucks when playing offline. In fact, if like for whatever reason your internet's out, I hear people like actually won't even play the game because you can't get VC. Which sounds bad, like they won't play the game that they enjoy because they won't earn anything for it, but I mean, that's just how it is. And as for Call of Duty, some people probably know and some people haven't. The DS had its own Call of Duty, funny enough. I don't know how it performed. I'm going to imagine horribly. And I don't know how it played. I'm also going to imagine horribly. I don't know how it sold either. But I do know that the DS does have its own Black Ops, which very clearly isn't a port. So maybe we'll see the Switch get its own Black Ops ? It is successful so far, having one of the best launches of any console of all time ever. But whether that's enough to sway EA to do something not EA is a whole other thing. And moving on, E3's here. What's up with that? In about a month, E3 presentations will happen. People will be able to attend the conference. And anyone got any E3 predictions they want to throw out first before moving on to the next thing?
We're totally seeing a localized Mother 3.
Yo, these rumors. We really are at the point where they're not gonna localize it. Like, if we ever see Mother 3 in the West, it's actually gonna be a remake. They're not. There's no reason. Anyone who wants to play Mother 3 already played the fan translation. Anyone who doesn't want to play Mother
I'm not
3
being serious.
won't buy Mother 3 if they localize it. Like, at this point, they shouldn't waste the effort to put in money to get it localized and put it on the
No,
eShop.
I wasn't being serious.
Oh.
We're not going to see a Mother 3.
I mean, I know you weren't being serious, but like, I'm tired of hearing it. It is actually a meme at this point.
Oh, it is.
Are we not seeing Mother 3?
No.
Are you completely ruling it out
Yes,
entirely?
we're not, unless it's a remake, which I really doubt. We're never gonna see Mother 3 in the West. It's not worth putting the money in to localize it. Anyone who wants to play Mother 3 already did,
What?
and anyone who hasn't wouldn't play Mother 3 if it was officially localized. In fact, the official localization might change some things, like the Magypsies being genderless, question mark? Or the part where
Right.
Lucas walks into the bathroom whenever, what's her face? Pink-haired lady saves him. I mean, there's some things that would have to be changed for the sake of ESRB unless they wanted to get, like, maybe an M rating. No, I'd probably get T. But obviously they'd want to market it as low as possible. And I don't think they'd... Well, they did with Earthbound Beginnings, didn't they? That's rated T. You know, forget me. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I just think Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings did extremely well on the Wii U, and they were in the top 20 for years after.
Yeah, but the problem is that those games already had existing localizations. The Earthbound Beginnings one is actually older than me. I mean, that game was localized but just never released. And Earthbound is just the SNES version. Mother 3 doesn't have an English translation at the moment. They would actually have to get it localized. Which is more than just putting it on the eShop. That's a lot of money that goes into, like, something that, it's not worth it. Unless they're gonna, like, actually completely remake it, nah, we're not gonna see it.
To be fair, you probably only need to make 2 or 3 sales to get into the top 20 of the Wii U shop charts.
No, when Earthbound Beginnings was released, I think it launched up to #1 for a while. And yeah, those are good games. I think Reggie, maybe someone already mentioned this now I think about it, but Reggie had been saying, let's see what happens in the next 2 years with Earthbound 3. So, I mean, we are getting more substantive hints that this is a possibility. I think Mother 3 is, without a doubt, the most requested game from Nintendo fans, and so it's something that's highly desirable. Whether or not there is actually a large market for it beyond fringe, more hardcore fans is probably what is Nintendo's main concern. But I think they could get away with it if the localization process just, depending on the costs associated with it. I'm not a businessman for Nintendo, but I would assume that the costs are reasonable enough that they could pull off Mother 3 and they would please a lot of people. The only problem is people would be happy for a week and then the next thing they'd be asking for is Mother 4. And that's a little harder.
And next, as I'm sure most of our listeners already know, the moderators of our Nintendo have been invited by Nintendo to go to E3 this year. And unfortunately, I can't make it. How about you guys?
No, in fact, I even get to miss out on Microsoft's too. Damn adult responsibilities.
No, I, on the other hand, was able to go this year. I was already planning on going because earlier this year they had released passes for normal consumers to buy. So I did buy one of those. So when Nintendo invited us, I, of course, took them up on the offer because I had already had the trip planned. So yeah, I'll be at E3 representing the rNintendo community along with 6 other of our fellow mods.
Yeah, the reason I'm unable to go is because there's a lot of, sure, they gave me a pass to go to E3, but, there's a lot of costs associated with, because, I live on the East Coast, so, I was thinking maybe I can go, and then I went on the internet and I was looking for round-trip tickets, and I was like, $500! And then I was looking at hotels, and I was like, $500 a night! And then I was looking at car rentals. It wasn't working. And, yeah, I mean, I think iwatafan, or no, yeah, I think Michael knows a bit more about it, but I saw some people who took the tickets are having some kind of issue with housing.
Yeah, no, I mean the problems with going to a conference is there's always things that you have to deal with that you don't normally think about. So you kind of dream about going to E3, and now it's finally happened. So what do? Well, a number of our moderators are going to be staying together in an Airbnb place, but they switched around a little bit because when they thought they had found a good place and they thought that it was a reasonable distance from the conference, they came to realize, well, the 30-minute route that they thought, the 30-minute route that they think they'll take to the conference is actually an hour and a half or something in the mornings when they have to drive there. Or they have to consider the traffic that will be right around the
Yeah,
conference
and the
center
parking too.
as thousands of other people in the garage trying to get into these parking garages. So they decided to switch around and try and find something much closer. And so yeah, it's just been a lot of juggling because you have to plan the Airbnb and split the cost with that. You have to plan for your transportation. You have to plan for the cost of food. And so all of these together, conferences, generally speaking, can easily end up being maybe $1,000 trip.
You forgot the worst part
So-
though. You forgot the crime rate and the fact that once you actually get into E3, you're literally just gonna wait in line. It's like waiting in traffic, but like somehow worse. And you're gonna wait at the parking deck to find a place to park. Nah, fam,
Right, it is-
miss me with that.
Yep. Yeah, it's much easier to watch E3 from afar. You have a much better experience sitting in the comfort of your own living room watching live streams. So, I mean, the reason why E3 exists is really primarily for industry people. So the press is there, developers are there showing off all their content. And so for most people who go to E3, this is work. It's not necessarily designed as a consumer conference, at least in its more recent
Yeah, I heard this.
iterations.
This is the first time they've opened it to people to buy passes, right?
Well, if, in a while, anyways. They used to, for a while, they used
They
to...
tried it for a couple of years before, didn't they?
Yeah, and
It didn't.
I secretly hope
Go
this
to the
goes.
last
I hope
time.
this goes horrible, so they don't do it this time. So whenever Nintendo invites me next time, the lines will be better, and the hotels won't all be
Yes.
booked out.
exactly.
But I do got to say that by not going to E3, I missed out on an opportunity to meet one of my heroes, that man Bill Trinan. Shout out Bill Trinan if you're listening. Top 3 Bills of all time. I mean, there's a lot of competition in the best Bill, but I mean, off the top of my head, there's like Bill Gates, Bill Russell, Bill Nye, Bill Clinton, Bill Belichick, Bill Cosby, Bill O'Reilly. Hey, wait. Hold on, man. Yo, Embassy, can you...
Well, this is-
Embassy, fix that. I messed up. I made a mistake.
This is getting dark. Yeah, no, out of all those Bills, I'd say Bill Trinan is easily number one. I mean,
I don't
who
know.
can compete with Bill Trinan?
Bill
The guy's
Ru-
the master.
Bill Russell has 6 NBA rings. I mean, he's got one... He can have a whole
True.
hand of rings. He's got 6 of them things. And Bill Gates has more money than I have anything. Maybe even more money than I've got cells in my body.
But I mean, man, money can't make up for just the cool factor, and I feel like Bill Trinan just exudes cool somehow. And I mean, this guy, man, he's in all the presentations. He's Miyamoto's translator. He's got a great sense of humor.
Well, I can't wait.
His Twitter handle is Tran. Like, that's an awesome name. Just saying, guys.
I mean, if I went there, I would ask him for an AMA. I don't want Reggie. That dude's a meme. I mean, I'm not saying I disrespect Reggie. Reggie's that dude, but like I'd much rather have Bill Trinan. I mean, I've already got it pictured in my head. For the subreddit theme, it'd be like a collage of screenshots of Bill Trinan's names in like legendary games like the Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time or like Mario Tennis. Those are just some games I know he's on for a fact. But like, if we could get a collage of his name in the credits of all these games he's worked on, like you'd actually be surprised.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of places. Yeah, I mean, the Nintendo presidents, executives are always in the credits, basically, as long as they work for Nintendo. But Yeah, Bill has been in the localization credits
For like 20
throughout the
years.
90s and 2000s. Yeah, he's been there, man. And this is Miyamoto's translator. This is the guy they went to when the game master Miyamoto wanted to speak to us Westerners. So, I mean, I think that speaks to something. That speaks to Bill's skill. And so, yeah, he's a cool guy. I hope when I end up running into him at E3, though, to be realistic, I'm sure that all these big shots hide in the shadows and only come out for interviews and things like that.
If you do get to see him with whatever our special pass is, what'd you say it was? Prosumer or whatever?
Yeah, the passes they gave to the moderators, they have certain classes for all these passes. So there's consumer passes, industry passes. Well, we got prosumer passes is what they're called. So I guess that means we're somewhere in between consumers and industry people in the eyes of Nintendo or the conference organizers.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but if you do see Bill, you gotta do me a favor and ask him if he wants to get on the podcast for an interview, or maybe if you could record a soundbite for us to use, something like I don't know, something. If you get anything.
We're there to represent the community, and one thing that our Nintendo wants to do is try and get AMAs, statements, or anything we can out of our beloved Nintendo heroes, Reggie and Bill. Hey, maybe Miyamoto, Enuma, or all these other fine folks. So, yeah, whatever opportunity presents itself, I will do my best to get something going for us, guys. So, no worries.
Don't forget to look for the Nintendo Minute guys.
Oh yeah, Kit and Krista. Krista or Chrissy?
It's Krista, I think.
Krista. Yeah, Kit and Krista.
No pressure.
No pressure. You got it.
No pressure.
I would do it.
No real pressure.
Hey Mike, while you're there at E3, just go and walk up to all the big shots. No big deal. Yeah, guys, easy stuff. No problem.
Exactly.
All right, I'm gonna pass the host spot back to my man TrainAss for this next one.
So up next, we've got the digital versus physical media topic, which is in this day and age, or well, nowadays, with high-speed internet becoming more and more prevalent and easier to get access to, is there really a reason to go with a physical release when you could just easily download the game right to your system? You've always got it. You don't have to worry about switching discs or cartridges. What do you guys think? Are we going to see a bigger transition to more digital games, or do you think physical is going to stick around for a while? And what do you think some of the pros and cons are between the two of them? Sam, let's start with you.
Physical's always going to be around, just because people impulse buy at shops, and that people don't browse digital storefronts the same way, apart from places like Amazon, I guess, are encroaching on people's lives. But no, physical's always around, and I've yet to buy a digital game that isn't digital exclusive, personally.
What do you think, Fro?
I think Sam's completely wrong. I mean, have you seen how much? What is it? The Nintendo Switch you can use some 2 terabyte SD card that doesn't even exist yet. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how many games that could hold? Why would they even go waste the time to make it so that you could use something like that when it gets made? Unless they expected people. I mean, think about how much better would consoles be if the PlayStation 4 didn't need a disc drive? It couldn't overheat. If you didn't have to worry about making games, like if you didn't have to worry about putting games on disc, production and distributing, that's a whole sector that you don't have to worry about when it comes to releasing a game. You don't have to worry about printing cartridges. You don't have to worry about getting it in stores. You will never sell out. You're right. With the internet access being everywhere, I mean, just download it to the thing. At some point, we're going to have storage, at some point, I imagine cloud storage will be like the actual norm. So storage won't be a problem, isn't a problem now, and won't be very soon ever. So there's only pluses for everybody if we just go all digital all the time. I like physical games, but I mean, it might be better for the industry to go a different way.
I like having digital copies of games, on my systems. Like I've got Mario Kart 8 is a digital title on my system, whereas Breath of the Wild and Puyo Puyo Tetris are both physical. And there are times where it's be kind of nice to have a digital copy of those other two, so I could switch them out easily. But one thing you mentioned is, what if the PlayStation 4 went digital only? I think there was rumors around, I don't know if it was the PS4 or it was the Xbox One, where it was going to be a digital only console. And the outcry from people over this was ridiculous, because if you go with a digital only system, you are potentially alienating thousands and thousands of potential customers. People in areas where they cannot get high-speed internet. They say only may have digital or dial-up internet, which still exists, or they may have satellite internet. You are alienating people where they cannot, say, have, internet access.
My answer to that is they would have to make an alternate console. Like you guys know about Nintendo and IQ. You know about that, right?
Yeah.
They would have to do a similar thing where they'd have to make a version. Let's say Nintendo wanted to release a console in, like, I don't know, South Korea, and they only had digital only one, but the Wi-Fi access in South Korea is iffy. I don't know if that's true. This is just an example. Then they would have to release like a Nintendo Switch version that is a traditional one with, cartridges and stuff. And I think you're mixed up on the. You said there were rumors about a console being digital only. The way it worked was it wasn't digital only. It just had to check. It was the Xbox One, and it needed to like ping a server once every 24 hours. And
right, to verify.
Yeah, and the other thing was that they did it, and this is something that I imagine can't happen with or wouldn't happen with digital, but it would there was DRM on every disc. So what would happen was when you put it into your game, it would tag it as the DRM. Like DRM would go off and be like, okay, now no other Xbox One can access the games on this CD. And then if you took it out and let someone borrow it and they put it in, it'd be like, oh no, the DRM, you need to buy a pass if you want to buy it. So you couldn't borrow a game that someone already bought. It's kind of like how DRM is mostly, like, the only other place I see it is when it comes to like Microsoft Office. Where when you buy Microsoft Office and you get a disc that's got 3 uses, and if you want to use it a 4th time, it'll be like, whoa, you can't do that. You're going to have to buy a pass and we'll give you 3 more uses. I mean, that...
I don't know. I don't think with the number of roadblocks that there are for a digital-only system, I don't think that's going to, I don't think we're going to be seeing that anytime soon. I mean, just even recently when Xbox Live went down, like right around when Andromeda was releasing, there were so many people that couldn't play their digital library, because there was no way to verify or authenticate. Sure, there was, for the Xbox One, it would have been, a 24-hour check-in, but what if you can't check in that 24-hour period?
Wait, did you say you couldn't play your games unless you can't play online games or Xbox Live arcade games or whatever if you're not connected to the internet?
The Xbox One titles, the digital ones, there were people complaining that they couldn't play those titles.
You can't?
The digital titles, because they were not able to connect to Xbox Live.
I don't think Sony's does that either. I think that's just an Xbox thing.
That could be, but still, that's a prime example of why going digital only is kind of a bad idea. Like, I've got a massive digital library between my Wii U, my Xbox One, my 360, and if I lose the ability to connect to the internet on one of those systems, that's just tons of wasted money. That's one of the big downsides.
You're being quiet again over there, Mike. You got something you want to say?
No, yeah. I mean, I was going to say the largest gaming platform in the world, I think we all know, is actually the iPhone or iOS. And then I'm sure a very close second is Android. And those are all digital-only gaming platforms. Now, obviously, mobile gaming is very different than gaming on the Switch, which, some people could say is portable. I call it a home console that's portable, so console-style gaming. But anyways, I personally have been buying digital-only as long as it's been possible. So basically, for the 3DS and Wii U, my entire library is digital-only. And I mean, yeah, there are downsides like the ones you guys mentioned. Like if you lose access to the internet, you can't download your games or you can't update them, or if it has some sort of DRM authentication process, you can't play them at all, or you can never sell them if you didn't like the game. So there are downfalls to digital.
But those same downfalls
but-
exist for physical. Where like you can't. Well, for
Right.
example, I mean, you said you can't play, like you can't sell it. But with discs, someone could steal your disc, and then you actually gotta buy another one, and there's no way around it. No refund, like,
Right.
or you could
You
lose
could break
the disc.
your disc. It could corrode if it's a cartridge. So its battery it could run out in the cartridges if they still do battery saves. I don't know how that works, and I mean you might not be able to repair it. And so there's downfalls all over the place. But I mean in general, I think that as our world becomes more connected, as our technology becomes more capable, digital distribution of content will only grow. And I mean, I think that the desire for physical copies is common among more dedicated gamers, and I understand the appeal of wanting to have a physical library with the cases showcasing all your games, but that's not necessarily. I don't think that market desire is necessarily growing as much as the market for digital games. So basically, what I think's happening is, for a long time, vinyl disappeared, or vinyl records, but bands started doing GoFundMes or Kickstarters or otherwise funding the vinyl edition of their albums, and now it's quite regular for any musician that I can think of to sell it digitally on iTunes or wherever, Google Play, or to do the normal CD, and then also to have a vinyl edition. And so I think that's what's going to happen to physical games too. It's going to be kind of a fringe collector's style thing to get, but it might not always necessarily be mainstream. And so I mean that's where I think it's all going. Personally, I'm basically throwing my money away, hoping that Nintendo finds a way to connect your digital libraries between current and future hypothetical hardware. So I'm going all in with digital. Right now I have 11 Switch games, for instance, and they're all digital, and I can switch between them easily, effortlessly. And I really do enjoy the convenience of that.
Something you just said.
I lose my stuff all the time also, so I would lose those little cartridges like crazy.
Something you said gave me an idea. Could you imagine in the future, whenever a new game comes out, the collector's edition comes out with like, it comes with a disc that you pop in your PlayStation 4? I'm talking like 10 years in the future. 10 years from right now, the collector's edition is the game come out for like a PlayStation 4 version. Kind of like how a band can come out with a vinyl version of their record.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder, that would be something, because that you'd kind of have these retro re-releases of like of hardware that can play it. So for instance, now you can buy a modern record player. So maybe that's one way Sony and Microsoft would keep its edge if the PC market kind of overtakes them hardware wise. They would have these kind of retro classic console style devices. Yeah, that's an interesting hypothetical.
Rodea the Sky Soldier for the Wii U, the limited edition of that version came with a Wii.
Yeah, I remember that.
And also, I know that there's a couple of low-key like games made for the NES.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Primarily they're released as a ROM, but you can also get a. You can also buy a cartridge.
Yeah, I saw a video about that like a week ago. I forgot whose video it was, but I saw those games, and they come in cartridges. They're not like ROM hacks, and they're music games too, which is the weirdest thing. These composers, like they got like actual composers composing music to come out of the NES of all things.
That's interesting. Yeah, I know recently there was some sort of GoFundMe for, I don't know if you guys would even know about these, but these really old, like, Bible games. There's this really old developer called Wisdom Tree that made these hilarious NES Bible games. And they just got re-released on these big NES cartridges, that SNES as well. Oh, you know what? They made a cartridge for every classic console. So you got Sega Genesis, Saturn. You got all sorts. So it's fun. There is... seemingly, and I know that's an extremely fringe example, but I do think that the interest in buying these like retro rehashes will grow. And yeah, I think it'll be more collector focused. It won't necessarily be mainstream, but yeah, I see physical slowly dwindling at the very least. Personally, I don't intend to ever buy one again, and I've been meeting more and more people who have the same mentality. So it from my perspective, it appears like digital is gaining a holding on the market.
I think it'd be nice to see, as you know, as you said, as digital gains more market, the cost coming down. Because right now you'll see a digital and a physical release and they're the same price. And there's really, because if you're factoring in manufacturing, you're factoring in having to, the production and everything of a physical item going into the cost, you don't necessarily, you don't need that for a digital release. So technically, the price should be lower. So I'm kind of also hoping that as we see more digital releases, we'll also see the price of games start to go back down, because that would be quite nice.
See, I think
that would be.
I think you're thinking wrong on this one, because you got to think video games have been $60 for like a while now, but video game budgets have gotten into the millions with some games like Final Fantasy 13 and GTA 5 having budgets that rival like big movie productions and development times that go on for 5 years. Like, I mean, I don't think video game, that's not a hit every developers are willing to take, if they don't have to anyway. And since I don't think
that's why download content exists.
So you think they would, you're saying they should cut the game down to like 40 and then up price the DLC, or maybe offer more DLC? Isn't that bad for the industry?
I think that's the sneaky way in which developers make games cost more. Breath of the Wild, for instance, was $60. The expansion pass is another $20. So really, it's kind of like an $80 game. And I think we're seeing stuff like that. I mean, it's not like games can just stay $60-ish forever after all. So
maybe
yeah.
going digital will give developers the freedom to, price their products on a wider scale instead of every game has to be $60 or £50, because that's what all the other games on the shelf are. And if you see anything cheaper than £60, you think, this game is probably bad because it's cheaper.
Right, that's true. There's a stigma.
Digital storefront, yeah. With indie titles, you obviously don't think that there's a quality difference between a $2.99 game and a $9.99 game. You just expect one will be bigger, or maybe it's got better music or better graphics, but the gameplay isn't necessarily worse just because it's cheaper. I wonder if that spectrum can translate to bigger AAA titles.
It just hit me, but if all games were digital, then there would be no secondhand market at all. And you know how
GameStop would love that.
Yeah, no, GameStop would hate that. If that'd be like, that's the worst case
sarcasm,
scenario.
sarcasm.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, GameStop would hate that a lot. I mean, could you imagine? Like, okay, for example, you know how like some games never lose their value. Like some CODs, for example. I could go to GameStop right
Nintendo
now.
Games.
Yeah, first, that's the worst case. Like, their games never go down, ever, and I mean ever. Sometimes they even go up, like Xenoblade Chronicles or like Path of Radiance.
Games like original Super Mario, Chrono Trigger, Zelda, those games, their value just goes up.
Yeah, I break the going back into digital versus physical argument. I actually scratched my Mario Tennis Ultra Smash disc, and if you've seen the prices on Mario Tennis Ultra Smash,
it went up.
I got to remortgage my house to afford a new copy.
Yeah.
Like Chrono Trigger, I just pulled up on eBay. Chrono Trigger, just the cartridge itself, $175 Canadian.
Yep.
Then there's somebody that's selling just the box, $80, just the box.
Right. No, and then Shantae is for the Game Boy Color, the first entry in the Shantae series. I think that regularly goes for $700 plus.
What?
Just to get that Game Boy Color cartridge, and yeah, so One example that occurred to me is very, very recently. There's a new game coming out to all across the platform spectrum, which is Rime, and they got in trouble for making their game $30 everywhere else, but $40 for the Nintendo Switch, and that included the digital edition. But they listened to feedback from their users, and so they decided to make the digital edition of Rime on the Switch also $30. They're keeping the physical edition at the $40 price point, but including a download code for the soundtrack. So that's interesting. That's the first time I've seen the digital edition actually cost less than the physical edition.
Do you think Amiibo will go digital?
No, never.
No.
Nintendo doesn't even want to acknowledge the fact that phones have NFC readers in them.
I wonder. Yeah, I mean, I think that Amiibo will remain a physical thing, and they'll keep releasing them in limited quantities to drive us all insane. All those of us who want to buy them all.
Oh God.
We'll talk more about that later.
You know what? That's actually pretty good. Let's transition into is the Amiibos. And just how much that has exploded since they announced it. When was it that Amiibos first got announced?
It's like
E3.
E3.
2014?
I think it was 2014. Sounds about right.
2014.
Yeah.
E3, yeah.
And wasn't their first release November 2015? Wasn't it?
Yeah, that sounds right.
That's right.
It was all
Yeah.
Smash. Like I still remember the whole Reggie versus
Hungry-
Iwata
yeah.
fight.
That was my favorite trailer.
Yeah.
That's my favorite trailer.
And you know what?
Yeah.
That's
I
one
love-
of the things
yeah,
that I
it's
love
so
about
good.
Nintendo at E3 is their wacky videos. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do this year. But yeah, Amiibos. Are they like? What do you guys think? Like, are they just a simple cash grab, a constant DLC for every Nintendo game, or are they actually something half decent? As I stare at my shelf of hundreds and some odd Amiibos. Are they worth it, or what do you guys think?
See, early,
How many Amiibos does everyone in here
I have 4. I got Lucas and the Retro 3.
I have 110 right now.
How many exist?
And that's not. Yeah, I have 140 or so exist at the moment. Well, I think it's actually 132, and then we have another 12 or so coming out between the Smash and the Zelda ones.
Are you counting the Amiibo cards?
No, I'm not. So with the Amiibo cards, that would be an additional 500, I think, or so.
Bro.
And then I don't even know how many Mario Sports Mega... What are they called? The Mario Sports Amiibo cards. I don't know how many of those there are, but... Yeah, if you include the cards, we're probably nearing 600-700 Amiibos total.
Yeah, I
But
don't
among
have
the
any of
physical
cards.
figures... Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
How many do you have?
How many do I have? I
Yeah.
probably have about the same as Michael. I'm probably around the 110 mark or so.
I
Nice.
can't believe you both have more Amiibo than me.
Well, the thing is,
I've got a mere 99 Amiibo.
Mir, you guys might have a little problem. You know what those cost?
oh, we do have definitely. Oh yeah, we definitely have.
We have a problem.
In fact, mine. The majority of mine are from the States. A buddy of mine, who's a mod over on RWU, he knows how to wheel and deal and find all these like good sales and stuff. And so he'd go and pick up some Amiibos, and he'd grab an extra one for me, and then ship them to me. I think the worst. I ended up getting a box easily 4 feet by 4 feet, full of Amiibos. This thing cost me, once you converted it from US to Canadian dollars, easily cost me over $200. And at that point, I was like, I got a serious problem. I gotta stop. And then I go and buy all the Breath of the Wild Amiibos.
Yes.
Do you ever? Are they in the
No,
box? Do you even like scan them?
Oh yeah, no, that's the other thing, and I'm sure I'm gonna piss off a lot of people. They've all been taken out of their boxes.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah,
I
they have
do
to
I
come
do
out of
use
the
them,
box.
so
They
it's
have
it's
to.
not like I just keep them and store them and don't actually use them. No, they all get used. So I've scanned them whether it was in Hyrule Warriors. Now I'm scanning them for Breath of the Wild. I've got all the costumes for Mario Kart, and all the costumes for Yoshi's Woolly World as well. Well, not all the costumes because I'm missing a whole ton of them, but no, I actually use them. I don't just keep them on display.
Can you not scan them
Yeah.
through the box? I thought you could.
No, there's actually right at the bottom there. It's a piece of cardboard, but it's got just like some foil. Pretty much stops you from reading the NFC, and then there's the fact that NFC only has a range of a couple millimeters. So even if you were to try and tap some sort of reader on the bottom of the box, you're not going to really be able to read it too well, if at all.
The exception to that rule is Shovel Knight. Apparently, the Shovel Knight amiibo box is designed so that you could, specifically designed so that you could keep it in the box.
Yeah, some people over on another sister Reddit community, our Amiibo, were making guides for how to remove the little piece of foil from your box without actually opening the box. And I think it involved drilling like a tiny hole and getting a paper clip in there. And people were actually doing this and scanning the Amiibo through their boxes. And I mean, I don't know if this method still works, but some people who are really dedicated to a new in-box collection were doing this. Personally, I started off new in-box, but then once I probably hit the 20 figure mark, I just opened them all. There's a few I've kept in the box, like, since there's maybe 5-6 Mario figures, I don't feel the need to open all 6 of those, so I've kept the gold and silver ones in theirs, but otherwise I've opened all my boxes too, because in my mind, they're physical download content, and they're kind of cool. The more I use them, the more I kind of fall in love with them. And Breath of the Wild, you can use every single amiibo ever at least once a day. There's only one that you can use more often, and so if you play Breath of the Wild and you want to kind of cheat and get loaded with items, then you use amiibo, and I think it enhances the game experience. The only problem is storage, where to put these things. I keep them in a shoebox in a closet, in various shoe boxes.
How do you guys...
Yeah, I've got all my Zelda amiibo on the shelf, and a couple of my most recent ones, but the rest, unfortunately, they're in a box until the wardrobe until I get some more space.
Because I have so many, I was running out of room, because I was putting them on shelves in my living room. And my collection just kept getting bigger and bigger, so I ended up a couple years ago I ended up building a shelf in my basement, just in my office where I was putting them, and then eventually I filled just the base shelf, so then I had to go out and get some more 2x4s and build 3 additional tiers so that I can have them all standing. I mean, I could, and it's more for show, so that you can actually see them all. I mean, I could just have them one behind another, but you'd never see them except for the first row. So you gotta show them off.
quick question, TrainAss.
Right.
Yeah.
Who are you showing off stuff to in your basement?
I plead the fifth. I don't know.
That's one of those things you can't say right. That's just one of those phrases that no matter how you try to say it, it's just not going to sound good.
Yeah. Well, it also makes it easier if I want to grab an amiibo to use it or something. I don't have to stand on a stool or something. I can just reach up and grab it.
Which reminds me, the amiibo actually do things sometimes, most of the time not worth it. How do you guys feel about the amiibo functionality that you've got purchased so hard into?
But I didn't buy the amiibo for the functionality. It's just the functionality is always a fun bonus. Maybe I'm stupid, maybe I'm a sucker, but all these amiibo, just the physical figure themselves, is worth the price to me. And then when it does something in Breath of the Wild, I'm like, whoa, this is really, I feel like I'm being spoiled. I know a lot of people will be cringing hearing that, and what a waste of money that is. But especially getting Epona in Breath of the Wild, that's the first. I think Epona is the first thing that's made people jealous.
I wasted that one.
Buyers.
I wasted Epona.
Waste?
Yeah, I'd scanned all my Zelda amiibos, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, cool, Epona. And I had just come off of the Great Plateau. I was on a bridge, and I saw one of the other towers to scan, so I'm kind of going, and I'm making my way up this this hillside, and I ended up getting killed. So when I go back and respawn, Epona is now missing. So I didn't even make it to a stable.
Can you not rescan her?
Oh no!
And this is something a lot of people did. I did this on my first save. It was devastating.
So the first time you scan the Twilight Princess Link, I think it's the Twilight Princess. The first time you scan the Link Smash amiibo, you get Epona. After that, it's completely random. So pretty much you have to keep scanning that same amiibo once a day, and you might get Epona again.
Wow.
So you can get Epona again.
From what I've heard, you can still get Epona again. Yes.
It's a gamble.
I think there was somebody on, I don't know if it was on one of the Nintendo Facebook groups that I'm in, or it might have been the subreddit, but they ended up having 2 Eponas registered at the same stable.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so if I kill one, I've always got another. Like, well, I guess that's one way to do it.
Well, one's clearly the Ocarina of Time Epona, and the other one's clearly the Twilight Princess.
Oh, clearly,
Epona.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, earlier
exactly.
Sam was talking about how she gets all the amiibo for she said she likes it as just figures and rather than actually using them. That's kind of why I got that Lucas. I'm sure you guys remember, well, except for Michael. Whenever I think it was Rockin' posted in the Slack that the amiibos were like dumb cheap on Amazon, and so I asked him how much Lucas was, and he's like $3 after shipping. And I said, really?
Jeez.
And so that's why I had that Lucas. That was the first amiibo I got, and that was the only one I wanted because
Nice.
Nintendo is never gonna make official Mother 3 related products ever. So it was now or never, and it was $3, and it was for $3 I could get the things shipped to my doorstep. I don't think you get it.
Right.
And then the Retro
Right.
3 was given to me, but also it's the same thing. Nintendo is never gonna make official products for any memorabilia for Duck Hunt or Game & Watch or Rob. So get them while you can. Even if they don't work in anything. They don't work in anything. Like nothing. They work in like 2 games. Okay. Woolly World, that's my problem with amiibo functionality. Yeah. But the problem is
Mario Maker.
But there's better costumes.
That's right, Mario Maker.
But there's better costumes in Yoshi's Woolly World. Have you seen the watermelon Yoshi?
Yeah.
Why would you pick anything else? Especially, why would you pay for anything else?
Yes.
And then for Mario Maker, you can unlock those costumes by playing the game. You don't even need this. You don't need to scan them. You can just unlock them.
Right.
True.
That's true.
Hyrule Warriors is another example.
If they hadn't made it available, then people would have been complaining that they had to buy the amiibo to get them. So it's a double-edged sword.
But it doesn't matter because
sometimes.
amiibo don't do anything fun in any game. Like they don't. The only games they do something fun in is whenever they do something sizable, something where you might as well have bought it as DLC, like Shovel Knight,
Hyrule Warriors,
Zelda,
Breath of the Wild. Yeah, pretty much the 2 Zelda games.
And I don't count stuff.
There's
like
one more.
Yeah.
There's one more. It's Splatoon. Because in Splatoon, it unlocks time trials.
Yeah.
It unlocks a number of the additional
mini games.
NES-esque the games they made. So there's that as well. And some people do enjoy training their amiibo in Smash.
No, stop.
That's something I
That's
never got
the worst.
into, but that is
training amiibo.
That's something.
Training amiibo might as
I
well be
just
its
thought I'd
own
throw
game
that
mode.
out there.
There's no reason that can't be its own game mode without an amiibo. That doesn't need an NFC chip for that. And the worst part is you can only have one thing associated with amiibo at a time. So you can't use the same Mario amiibo for a Smash AI and a Ultra. What is it? Mario Tennis Ultra Smash AI. You can only use them for one at a time.
Remember in Twilight Princess HD, you could use your amiibo to just skip the file select menu? That was a game changer.
Really?
Could you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it unlocks the Cave of Trials or something?
Yeah, so Wolf Link amiibo would unlock the Cave of Trials, which you could use that. And if you used Zelda, Link, Shiek, you would get, I think, hearts, arrows, or I think that's what it was. But if you use Ganon or Ganondorf, however you're gonna want to say it, damage was doubled, and there was something else.
But that stuff can be in the game without amiibo or DLC without being amiibo. And they're not. That's my worst. That's the biggest problem with the what is it in Hyrule Warriors? Using Link gives you the Hyrule spinner thingy. But if you don't have a Link amiibo, which isn't hard to find, obviously, and there's so many different ones. But if you didn't have one, you couldn't even just buy it straight up for like $1 or $5. through regular DLC. You actually need an amiibo for that. So like it's like amiibo usage range from actually worthless, like random items in Breath of the Wild from random amiibo and training AIs, to might as well be DLC, like in the Zelda games. And I think that what is it? the 3DS one with the 3 links. What's that one called? Triforce Heroes. There we go. Yeah, I think that one used amiibos in a similar way. I might be tripping.
No, that one didn't use amiibos, I don't think. But yeah, no, I do get your point. I completely agree with you that this is in most respects a cash grab. But at the same time, that is why I buy amiibo. I buy it for the digital benefits. Now, I mean, that's at least the main ones, like all the Zelda ones, all those games we just mentioned. But then once I got going, I'd go, well, you know, I might as well buy this Kirby amiibo. Oh, I might as well buy. And then before you know it, I have the full Smash collection. And I don't know. It's part mental illness, and it's part it's part illness, part dedication to Nintendo, part actually getting enjoyment out of them. So I don't know.
My last question.
I don't know. The same way.
My last question is.
I said earlier.
My last question for the three of you: how do you feel about some amiibo that are so clearly going to be worthless? And when I say that, I mean stuff that won't be in anything. I'm talking Game & Watch or Wii Fit Trainer. How do you justify that being the same cost as Mario and Link?
Well, they're not going to make Wii Fit Trainer merchandise. If I'm not even sure that they're going to make another Wii Fit, to be honest.
They won't call it Wii Fit, and it won't use the balance. So never. Yeah, you're right. Wii Fit's a legacy character now. No, I actually like Wii Fit Trainer.
And you know what? I think that's why. I think that's why something like the Wii Fit Trainer is now a collectible. And, you know, Game & Watch, same things. Like, they're the rare ones, the one-off ones that, sure, they're, you know, you're not going to really do anything outside of scan them for a costume in Mario Maker or use them as a character in Smash. At that point, they're just it's just a collector's item.
Yeah, I think that's the main function. I mean, especially for figures like Wii Fit Trainer, I do think that's kind of the quintessential useless amiibo. There's no future for. It's not like there will be Switch Fit, and if you use your Wii Fit Trainer amiibo, you exercise more or something. Like, you know, there's no way to implement. There's no way to implement Wii Fit Trainer in a desirable way in any future game that I can think of. But I don't know. I'm used to getting surprised.
I was wrong. I say I was wrong, but more I forgot. There is another use for amiibos that are not in official Nintendo games. There's I think it's One Piece Grand Battle or something. It's a JP only, as far as I know, 3DS game, kind of like Smash, but with One Piece characters. And if you scan in Nintendo characters, you can get Wii Fit's one of them. For anyone who cares, I can go through the list in my head. Brook used Marth, Zoro used Link, Luffy could use Mario and Luigi, Nami used Wii Fit, Nico Robin used Samus, Frankie used Donkey Kong, Usopp used Yoshi, Sanji used... Dude, I can't remember. But Chopper was... Also can't remember. Forgettable. No, Chopper was Kirby. That's who Chopper was. I really can't remember who Sanji was. But yeah, there are other titles like that where you could get alt costumes for characters and stuff like that. And with a One Piece one, it's at least interesting. And they found a use for Wii Fit, of all characters.
Little Mac, Captain Falcon.
Well, Little Mac's going to be in arms in some way, and everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Do you think Little Mac will be involved in arms?
Definitely. This is Nintendo.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Somehow.
Some sort of, yeah.
My guess will be an alt costume for Springman.
But they're such different games, though.
That's such a Nintendo thing to do, though. Nintendo references other Nintendo franchises almost out of tradition.
But Lanky Kong.
They're not going to do Lanky Kong. No, and I could also see the Ultra Hand Reaper Grabber thingy. Whenever I saw that there were arms that in that video where it shows off there are hidden arms we couldn't see, there's no way the Ultra Hand Reacher Grabber isn't one of them.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great shout. I hope it is.
we're recording on a Saturday. That's usually when we can all get together. So this Saturday, so tomorrow is Mother's Day. So we're going to kind of talk a little bit about our favorite video game mothers. I know it's a kind of a weird topic, but I don't know. I wanted to try and tie in Mother's Day into this episode somehow. And this is the only thing I could think of. So, and it's definitely a weird topic. Guys, what are your favorite video game mothers? Michael,
Well, I'll get started here. Yeah, no, I mean, I was thinking, I don't know if actually she strictly speaking appears in a video game. Probably, if possible, Pokemon Yellow, but Delia Ketchum, which is Ash's mom, she has always been a really hilarious video game mom in my mind. Like, especially if you watch the anime, obviously, that's where you get her personality, but she's a lot of fun to kind of watch because she's so nice and so industrious. She's such a quintessential mom, always having food on the table and keeping things clean with the help of Mr. Mime. But I don't know, she packs a punch. She doesn't take shit from anybody, and I really have always liked that personality, and I think that that's kind of a trope that is often found in video games, that moms mean business in video games, I think, and perhaps you guys can think of other examples.
Moms do not mean business in Nintendo games, and the Gen 1 mom is easily worst mom of all Pokemoms. She does nothing. She does nothing. She doesn't even wake you up like in Gen 6. I mean, she actually does. You only have to talk to her once, and you might not even have to. I think you can just walk right by her, and you can prompt the oak thing without it. I mean, at least in Gen 2, your mom took half your money and put it in savings, and would sometimes waste it on nonsense like potions. Whenever you're like in Victory Road, get a call from mom, and she's like, "Hey, I was at the Pokemart. I saw something you might like, made me think of you." It's a potion, a regular potion. Thanks, Mom. I need that.
That is something that a mom would typically do.
But it's your money. She's spending your money.
Yeah, so what?
And you got to go back to her if you want to deposit money. She's like a bank. I'm not joking. That's how it works.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, I do remember that. And let's see, like in Pokemon Sun, the mom seems to be a more central character where, I mean, you're kind of checking in with her at every interval. You end up back at home.
Yeah, you do. I really liked that.
She took you over to the islands when y'all moved there, and so you're kind of a team trying to explore this new area that you live in now. And so, I don't know. Yeah, Pokemon moms in general have really varied depending on the game.
Yeah, in Gen 6, in X and Y, your mom was like some kind of rider legend, where she actually, I think that was the first time your mom had a job, other than like being a Japanese mom, staying home all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
What do you think, Sam?
I'm really struggling to think of any video game mums. They're quite few and far between. Actually,
well,
I know that's why this is the weirdest topic.
Nah, I think there's plenty, but you gotta dig deep. Like, okay, I'll go ahead and do mine then, because I'm a bit. So obviously, Lucas's mom's like number one mom, because she has to be, and I'm not gonna spoil why. Just she's in the talk. But if we're talking about Nintendo moms, it depends on what you count. Because like, okay. How about Samus with that one Metroid? Because Samus is really emotional and maternal. A lot of people don't like it, but like in Metroid, Super Metroid, Metroid 2, and other M's, she is visibly like worried about the baby Metroid. Sometimes it's a meme, but I mean, she is very maternal, and you can see that same characterization happen in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, where she gets Pikachu as a stand-in for the baby Metroid. And she's very maternal and protective about it, but the reason that relationship works is because Pikachu's a Pokemon, and Pokemon are very loyal. So, it was cute and, what's the word I'm looking for? Appropriate for her character. And then there's Rosalina. She's mother of all Lumas, who happen to be baby stars, which makes her an actual goddess in some respect. She tells them bedtime stories, which is the most random thing, but that's definitely in the game, and you can watch her do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But outside of that, we don't see her do other motherly duties. And then the final mother that comes to mind is an oddball, and you might not even count her as part of the Nintendo family. Well, then actually I take it. There's two. There's Cooking Mama, who's also Gardening Mama and Babysitting Mama.
Good point.
but man, speaking of Cooking Mama, her voice, you guys need to go and listen to the Cooking Mama voice actress. They changed it with the newest one, but the old one was the worst. Like, it was a Japanese woman doing the worst English I've ever heard. I love it. I'm so mad they changed it. If they
I think I gotta
uh,
try and find the Cooking Mama games now.
Yeah,
Ever
seriously.
since I played Cooking Mama.
and
Oh man.
I mean, I would maybe Embassy will put a little soundbite here for everyone to hear the even better than Mama quote, because I can't do it justice.
Wow, even better than Mama.
But
Oh, yeah.
and the final
Wow.
one, who you might not agree with me, is Bayonetta from Bayonetta. In Bayonetta 1, she's real maternal with Cereza, despite her personality. You wouldn't think she'd be a very good mother, but she certainly acts like one.
The one mom that kind of always sticks it, and it's only probably because I think I remember it more than I do Pokemon, but it's Chrono's mom from Chrono Trigger. Because you know what? If she didn't wake you up on time and tell you to go to the market, you never would have gone on that adventure.
Aw.
No.
But that's like a JRPG trope. That happens in like every RPG though, where you wake up.
Yeah, but that's the best.
But that's
RPG.
all. But that's all that Chrono's mom does, except for take care of all the cats if you're crazy.
Well, of course, she becomes a crazy cat lady. Oh, then there's Mother Brain.
I don't think that counts. Well, I guess you could. Maybe I'm being
Why
selective
not?
by saying it doesn't.
She's the mother. She's the mother of all like the space pirates.
She's
and
not
the
really a
Metro and
mother. They
everything.
just call her mother.
Yeah, Mother Brain's in there too.
All right.
If that counts, then I count the boss from Metal Gear Solid 3.
Is that a spoiler?
I don't know. I've never played. that.
Yeah, that's why I'm reluctant
Okay.
to say much more. But yeah, great. One of the best characters in video games. The boss. Definitely one of the best women.
You could count the Yoshi tribe from Yoshi's Island, because the stork. See, in the world of Mario, you don't actually get born. The stork drops you off, and in Yoshi's Island, the stork messes up and drops the babies, and the Yoshis take care of Mario for a while, and then in sequels, I say sequels, but in in-game sequels, not canon sequels, other things happen, like the stork drops them off at the wrong house when you beat the game at the end, so now you gotta do it again with Yoshi's, what game is that? That's New Island, right? Yeah, that's New Island. And then Yoshi Island DS added even more babies with Donkey Kong and Wario. So if you can count Mother Brain, then I want to count the Yoshis, because they're the real MVPs in the Mario universe. Because without them, there's actually not a single Mario game.
Yeah, give it up for
Yeah.
Yoshi.
Fair enough. Yes. Thanks, Yoshi. I don't think we're gonna find another weird topic. To top this one.
I don't think we can.
Not for
either.
a long time.
Father's Day. We can't do Father's Day.
I feel like Father's Day will be easier.
How?
I don't know, because it's
Name one
'cause it's
Nintendo
gonna
dad.
be it's gonna be folks like Bowser and
He's not a good dad.
Oh, Bowser's such a good dad.
Oh, you mean the
Switch
yeah.
commercial? For
Right.
He
things.
actually worries. The part where they're like eating at the table and Bowser Jr.'s telling them about something that happened in Mario Kart. That is the best. Who wrote that?
It's so cute.
Well, and if you go based on the cartoons as well, he's got all the Koopalings. He's trying to be nice and do things for them. Yeah, I guess Bowser could be.
Yeah, I take it back. He does try to be a good dad, even if he's horrible at. Yeah, he's actually horrible at it, but he's trying. Especially in that parental settings video on the Switch, where he
Just like every dad in real life.
where it shows like his
Horrible at
background
it,
is
but they
Peach,
try.
and then he lies to his kid about who his mom is.
That's gonna actually be a good topic for some point.
Well,
are the
dog,
Koopalings'
the best Nintendo mom is Miyamoto.
Could he be both the mom and the dad, Miyamoto?
Well, no, he said when asked who Bowser Jr.'s mom is, he said it was him.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, of
oh
course.
yeah.
I completely forgot.
We
about
have a winner.
that. All right. So Miyamoto is the best Nintendo mom ever.
We've proven it, folks, right here on the Hello Nintendo podcast.
And there goes any support we ever had from Nintendo. Well, that about wraps it up. So next episode is actually going to be hosted by Fro and Casterman, as I'm going to be away at a voice acting workshop trying to get more into that industry. So you have to check out the next episode where they take care of the episode, and we'll be discussing a question that's been asked since the dawn of video games. Is Nintendo doomed? Find out next time on Hello Nintendo.